Hola, animigos, and welcome to Keyframers, the animated collaborative coding livestream where we celebrate birthdays.
Do we now?
Yes.
Whose
I'm your
birthday?
host. I'm your host, Stephen Shaw, and it is not my birthday.
And I'm your host, David Khourshid, and I wish it wasn't my birthday. Getting old.
just the tiniest bit. You're not aged yet. You're perfectly.
When does that happen?
Give it another year. No. So today is an awesome day. It's actually David's birthday exactly. And so we are celebrating here with another fantastic live stream. And David is turning 30 today.
Yes.
See, it's kind of a magical year, David, because you are 30. You're not in your 30s. You're 30.
So what's the difference exactly?
Well, when you're 30, like, you can kind of play it off like it's cool, but once you're like in your 30s, like, you know, you're just in your 30s, and all right, here I am. But you're in a nice sweet spot.
I think over time I'll understand the difference a little bit more. But
yes.
Yeah, if any of you are in your 30s, feel free to give me all of the advice. We have 16 people watching.
Yes.
That's because I guess we're teasing them with something.
They
all
are
we're doing
excited.
Is making an animation.
Well, so there is some special stuff happening on the stream. We're of course boolean buddies, keyframe companions, all those fun things. And
Yes.
we're gonna do an animation from scratch, but we are also celebrating a release of something. David's been teasing for a while.
Yeah, it's a release of some new XState tooling. Which, all right, there's two things about me that you should know. Number one, I'm a huge procrastinator, and number two, I am a huge perfectionist. Now, don't get me wrong, perfectionist doesn't mean, contrary to popular belief, it doesn't mean that things are perfect. In fact, it means that being a perfectionist means everything you do is imperfect in every way possible, and you will never get things perfect. So that's where I am. And so for the last month or two, I have been working on these XStates tools, which, by the way, if you don't know, I created this state management, state orchestration library, whatever you want to call it, called XState. And for the longest time, state machines and, you know, the way we think about state has really influenced the way that we do our animations. You can see that whenever we use data states or whenever we use our own homegrown state machines without any libraries, which is something that we love to do, just doing things without any libraries whatsoever. The state machines just make it a lot easier to manage this sort of thing. And state machines are inherently a very visual tool. So with that, we need tooling, because if you just write a state machine in code, then you end up like Shaw being like, David, this is really confusing. Why do we do this? And I'm like, trust me, just wait for it to be visualized. And yeah, so I think what we're going to do today is we're going to do an animation that Shaw chose, and we are going to actually add XStates to it, and we're going to play around with the new inspector. So it's a visualizer, but not the normal XState visualizer that you would think. What I'm revealing is, well, it's actually the start of many things, but the first part of it is going to be an inspector. And so what this means is, if you're using XState in your applications, whether you're using React, Vue, Svelte, Angular, or even no framework at all, you're going to be able to visualize your state machines in real time. And this is a huge difference from the visualizer, where you would copy paste code in, change things up, see how things work. With this, there is no built-in editor. You will have the freedom of choice to use whatever editor you want. And in this case, we are going to be using Code Sandbox. And what's interesting about this is I have not tried it with Code Sandbox. So this is going to be an experience one way or another.
Code Sandbox or Code Pen?
Sorry, Code Pen. Code Pen. Oh, geez. Did we just lose our sponsorship?
Yeah, I think
Sorry,
so.
no.
I'll speak with the people
Just
there.
we'll add that in post.
Yeah.
But
adding it into CodePen here. So just leading in a little bit. So the XState visualizer is a amazing tool just all on its own. You're able to pretty much copy in your code from pretty much anywhere and get that visualizer. But what David's put together is actually that like in browser. So as you're developing, you can see that as you go along. So I've got just the tiniest bit of code set up here for this lovely animation. Before we get too far, rate your experience. Pop shot by Lollipop, which should be
my experience being 30 or what?
Yeah, let's get David's rating of being 30. And then we're gonna recreate that using a state machine and power it by XState and try out this new setup.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm still working on deploying it right now. It is deployed at a top secret URL, which I should reveal soon, but I'm not going to because I'm not done yet. So yeah.
All right.
Do we have XState in there?
No, I have not added XState. Does it need to be a special version or anything?
No, it just has to be the latest version.
Is it on unpackage, I suppose?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go.
Should be.
Package.com, not splitting. We want XState.
Splitting would be fun too.
4.13. Yes.
Add whatever you want.
Okay. We should have XState in there now. Let's see. Can tell this feedback. It's helpful. All right. So we should have machine from XState.
Mm-hmm. And so Shaw, you've done a little bit of XState in the past. I think we actually have an episode of Shaw struggling through or having fun with XState.
Enjoying XState. Yeah, this is a great episode that you should go back and check out. We've got the code and the video there. We'll add those links below, but they're in the chat now. Just a drag and drop state machine, and we're visualizing the state before that was a thing at the top here, showing the idle state, dragging inside, and then dropped, resetting to idle. So this was a great foray into state machines and XState, so you should check that out if you have not already. Let's see. Okay, it's capital XS state. And is it create machine or machine?
So both of them work. Create machine is going to be the way to go moving forward. But in fact, so I'd encourage you to use just that.
Let's check it out. Is index.js the best thing to use, or actually, let's see. Let's back it.
So I wonder, I think it builds the entire bundle. Does it not? So, all right, we have const create machine equals XState. Is that working?
Oh, okay, I need to get the lib here. XState web.
Or isn't there an XState dist, XState something or other?
There's XState. Let's see. There's dist, XState, XState interpreter, and XState web. Which one?
You want let me look it up. So we have unpackage.
I'll send you the link
we did this in a previous project. I'm trying to remember.
Right, and in the drag and drop state machine, we're using just xstate.js.
Right, and so whatever one that is, that should be use xstate.js, not .web, not .interpreter, just the xstate.js.
All right, so it looks like we have that working. It's not giving us a little error in the bottom here, so that's great.
Cool. And while you're doing that, I'll add the top secret thing. It's not really top secret, but
it is. All right. So as far as states go, we're kind of looking at an idle state, and then rating state.
So states, idle. Yeah, so that's our very simple machine, right? If we're both seeing the same thing in the JavaScript panel, we have an initial state of idle, and yeah, cool.
So idle, rating, and then let's see, submitting, something like that. We'll add a extra state in there for that. And then so here, let's see, we can add on. State machines are a very beautiful thing. Basically, we're laying out exactly the states that our application can be in. We're not using a Boolean of like is idle and then comparing that in a large if statement of like if is idle and not is rating is loading. Like, yeah, it gets wild really fast if you have more than just like a single state. So that's what state machines are great at. And within each state, in the states object here, we are giving it events that can happen in that particular state, so that you don't end up with some kind of scenario where you can cancel something that's already been uploaded, or you know, any kind of weird scenario where the wrong event coming through could actually throw your whole app off. So on rated.
Yeah. So I forgot that CodePen doesn't really do the whole npm imports thing nicely unless it's bundled up.
Right.
Or is there an easy way to? I'll figure it out. Doing it live.
So on idle, so let's say on click, we'll do rating.
Completely forgot about that.
Submitting. Yeah, there's stuff coming for that. Don't worry.
All right. I'm waiting for it. Can't wait too long.
We all are. We all are. All right, so.
Or maybe we could do an ES module.
Idle on click.
That'll probably work, right?
In theory, it does. Yes.
All right. I like in theory. I'll take those chances.
So yeah, you should be able to actually import it at the top as a ES module.
Really?
Should be able to. So submitting. What's the XState way to do like a timer?
So you would just do after. So after would be the property, and then you would just say after like 1,000 for 1 second. Oh, hey, that's cool. So ES modules do work, or they work in theory. So let's. I'm going to try this out. Import spect from a package. We don't need that. Browse. Okay. I think this will work. If I break anything.
This hidden.
Yeah. So like I was talking about, the new thing that's being released is an inspector thing. All right. Fail to resolve module specifier XState relative references. What?
Relative references must include /./ let's see. Port star as inspect. Let's just see if we're getting anything imported. No, same error here. Let's take a look at this actual file.
Failed to resolve. Yeah, maybe the file's wrong. And this is a very tiny package, by the way. It's meant to just
That's great.
Create some dev tools and do some things.
Okay, it looks. It might be the relative imports of like trying to import XState and all of that, since it's not fully bundled.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. You might be right. All right, I'll figure this out.
I'll keep going with the.
All right, sounds good.
So we've got idle, rating, submitting, and then what is the after syntax? I've got to find that. Effects. that under effects, or is it actions?
What are you trying to do?
After.
So yeah, after it's you don't need any of the yeah.
Oh, it's an actual function. Okay.
Let's see where you are after. Oh, yeah, it's an object. So you do submitting after, and then you say like 1,000, and then that would go somewhere.
Okay.
Or that would do something.
Yeah,
whatever you want to do.
Back to idle.
Yeah.
Like that. All right, and let's copy this machine in, and let's see what it looks like in the visualizer. In this context.
Right, and remember, this is the old visualizer until I figure out how to
create machine.
How to get this new visualizer working.
Like that. Machine. Great, yeah, check that out. All right, so on idle, we'll click and we'll go into the rating state, and then we'll either rate or cancel. If we rate, it submits, and after a second, it goes back to idle. So that's great. So that's the current XState visualizer that really helps you see your state machines. It's certainly a lot more helpful with more complex state machines, but
yep, but we could do better.
Yes.
So like once I figure out how.
Yes, if we need to migrate somewhere, feel free to set something else up. If that
yeah, sure. I mean, we could probably take a quick peek at Code Sandbox, but no, I want to try to figure out how to do it here. Ideally.
Okay. So let's see. Let me go back to the original animation. So here's kind of the idle state. It's got the waving hand, and then you rate, it gives you a very specific emoji for that, and then it's got labeling for all of those. It's great. Okay, so let's get some stars in here.
Adding type module to scripts and pens. Oh man, you need that npm import stuff in CodePen. I think that would make CodePen the best tool ever.
You know, there's stuff happening.
Yeah,
we'll get there. Okay, so going into icons here, let's find a star. Cool. Half ratings too. So we can copy this in.
Okay.
Do that here. We'll do this top here. Say this.
All right, I'm gonna basically, I think I did this last time too. I'm basically gonna just copy and paste the entire thing in. I'm gonna do it at the bottom, so don't scroll down too far. Because, yeah. All right, where do I have an error? Exports is not defined.
Let's see. If we're doing defs, it's not actually SVG. What is it? It's a path.
That'd be really funny if I could do this. All right, require is not defined. That's okay. We're going to shim that. XState.
Can do that.
This is going to be hilarious. So, tills. So, okay, got to copy a few things. Let's see, two.
Should work.
Let's
try. Say. SVG. Use.
Okay, to SE. Spell event. For everyone watching, we're basically Shaw's live coding the animation while I am live coding the thing to actually make the surprise thing work.
In a hidden way, but we'll get to the interesting bits here.
This will be hilarious if it actually works,
that's
though.
what it is. It's symbol. Okay, that symbol there.
Okay, that's fine. We need something else. Subtils 1, and then 2 event object 1. Specs and
There's symbol up here.
Let's see. 2 event object.
Oh, close that out. Should help.
All right, let's see. So we have 2 SCXML events, 2 event object. All right, so we have function 2 object. Did you comment out all my stuff?
I did. I'm just trying to see if it's if my HTML is actually working. So let's go back here. Behavior. Take off automated moment. See if we can get it. My star. So where's my star? A star, David.
What happened?
I'm just trying to see if I'm doing something wrong. If the HTML is refreshing or if it's being blocked by the JS. Yeah, let me comment this out really quick.
All right, I think it's almost working. Oh, sorry. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's see if this is working. All right, so you have your machine, create machine. Are you, oh, you commented out my thing again.
Dependency XState. I did, you know.
Well, what's wrong with it?
Something's not, let's see.
No, it's fine.
Updating preview. Let me refresh here because something is off. There we go. Okay. All
right, cannot read property errors. What?
Yeah, refresh and see. It looks like it's working now.
Identifier exports has already been. Yep, that's my bad. Constant exports. You know what? That's probably I don't know. I think CodePen is implicitly doing an exports somewhere, right?
Let's see. Do you have import happening anywhere?
No, oh, I shouldn't.
Hold on. Don't worry about that. You didn't see anything there on the live stream. You did not see a hidden panel. Don't worry about that. All right, so it's working now, right?
I believe so. Let me, so if I, how do we refresh this thing? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things going on at the bottom. Please pay no attention to that. So I can just put ignore everything going on here. And also let's console.log something just to see that something's happening. I don't see anything being logged in the console. Am I going crazy or?
Hold on. Make sure we're synced up. Okay.
It says identifier exports has already been declared, but I thought we fixed that.
Yeah, refresh again.
Yeah. Okay. All right. No errors, which is good. Okay. Which means that something will be working very, very soon, which I'm excited about. Okay, so let's take a look at your machine right now.
No,
we have 3 states: idle, rating, submitting. Yeah, I'm guessing you already talked about this. All right, wanna wire this up?
Yeah, I don't have much as far as the UI goes yet.
All right, let's go ahead and make 3 states then. So we have tell us how was your experience, and then the rating part, right?
Yeah. Let me get my stars working here.
So I'm going to do const rating service equals XState.interpret this rating machine.
There we go.
Dot on transition, we have a state, and we could do whatever we want with that state. So we're just going to console.log that state, and I'm going to also call .start. So we actually started. All right, cool. So right now, not doing anything, which is totally fine. Let me going to bring this up here. State inspect.
We can transition from, let's see, so we'll do const L rating equals document query selector L rating add event listener click, and then what's the XState way to send an event? Rating machine dot.
Well, so you would send it to the service. So rating service dot send, and then you would just send whatever you want. So that probably has to be before the service, or actually after. That's what I meant.
All right, so I've got that.
Man, I really hope this works. Well, all right. So I know the XState thing will work. What I'm worried about is the inspector. This is really cutting edge stuff.
So cutting edge, we might get hurt.
Yes, pretty much.
Okay.
All right. So you have it so that when we click on L rating,
just the entire thing. It should.
Okay. So it sends that that rating event.
Right.
All right, cool. Do you know if I could, if we could quickly put all of this junk in a separate pen? Is that a good idea?
All of the bottom stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it can go in a separate pen and then be imported using our pins as resources.
Let's do that.
Okay, I can do that really quick.
All right.
So I'll copy
I've actually never done that, or I don't think I've done that.
Copy this super secret code out here.
It's not really secret. In fact, what's funny is that everything I do is sort of public on GitHub and NPM, so you could just, go there.
Follow along.
Yeah.
So I've got that there. We probably need XState there as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's add that in. Save.
Thank you so much for doing that for me.
Yes. So this is the XState.
And that way we could just reuse this.
XState
inspect.
Okay. So we can copy this out. Copy this over here. And close. And in theory, we still have all that available.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. So everything is still working, correct?
Yeah.
Still not working.
Yeah. And so when you import a pen as a resource, how do variables, or is it just like you're copying and pasting the JavaScript?
Right. It's just like it's on window.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you know what? Let's try that. So instead of this, or actually, do you have the other pen? Let's console.log inspect. Let's see if it's actually being pulled in from the other pen. It is not, because I think that so I had a variable up on top called XState inspect.
Oh.
And yeah,
let's do equals that, and that should work. Go over here and say JS. Nothing.
Still not defined. Or did you? Did you capitalize the I?
I did not. Let's see. Yeah, it's all one word, all lowercase. Let me. Because if we go directly here, okay, got that. Save, refresh here. Let's see.
I'll refresh as well.
Inspect is still not defined.
Oh, yeah, it is. If
Did it
you
work?
if you hard refresh,
Yeah.
it should be defined. You see those inspect, create dev tools, all that sort of stuff there. Okay. So
cool.
XState inspect. We're going to give it a iframe false, and this still won't work, but you might see a window pop up, or if you have pop-ups blocked, then you should unblock them.
Yes. So it looks like it's done it out to a new tab.
What do you see?
Okay. It says 404 deployment not found.
Good. Okay, try it again.
Okay, refresh. Okay, there we go. All right, is it gonna pop that out every time?
Yes. Unless we have an iframe. Do you want to?
Yeah, let's do an iframe, and we can position it
fine.
in there. That'll be.
All right, so the way I made this library, and I'll just go ahead and get rid of this iframe false, is you could have it inline or you could have it in a separate window, which is great if you have bigger machines. But you know what, before I talk too much, let's actually make sure this works. So if you make an iframe data XStates and you just plop it there, it's going to populate, hopefully, with the machine. Did I do the iframe syntax wrong?
Yeah, you have to actually close it out.
Do I? Okay. And then you could get fancy and we could actually have the iframe take up half the screen or however you want. Basically, it's embed anywhere. There we go. It's showing up at the bottom. It's just very short. So I think we could just style it.
Here, I've got some styles happening. So we can do that, and we won't position absolute it, but we'll do margin. Zero. Cool.
So glad that it's almost working.
It just says waiting for connection for me.
Okay. Yeah, and so we have DevTools true for the so the XState that's being used actually no, it doesn't need to be the same one. Because all right, hold on. Console.log window.xstate. Just imagine a really fancy visualization right there.
Imagined.
Okay, good. All right, so it says no services are running, which is weird because we have XState interpret and we're starting that. And so it should be running. So that's really weird. Let's see, console.log. Yeah, that's sort of weird. Interpret rating machine DevTools true. Okay, so this, is it running yet? Let's take a look and see. Let's see, parent status, it should be running. It's just not attaching to the DevTools. So what's supposed to happen here is we have the XState DevTools, which attaches this double underscore window thing to the, double underscore XState thing to the window, and then unexpected character. Well, anyway, and so what's supposed to happen is it's supposed to communicate with the iframe via that global window object, but which I will get that working. I'm just trying to figure out why it's not exactly working. So we have xstate.interpret rating machine. That was true. Let's manually do this. There's always another way to do it. So window.xstate.register rating service. There we go.
Hey, check that out.
Okay,
we did it.
There's your machine.
It's done.
There's your visualizer working live in a running application. Had to juggle a few things around in CodePen to get this to work, but I'm really glad that it does work.
Okay, I'm clicking, but it's not sending click.
Let's see. Is string is because I forgot to do one thing in our hacked together inspector that we copy pasted.
The link is in the dependencies.
Yeah, I don't think I could edit it though.
Yeah, you can.
Can I?
Your team CodePen. Just
switch
over to that context.
Oh yeah, I guess I do need to. Aha, you're right. Okay, this string, I'm going to do some surgery here. Let's see if. Okay, hold on. Okay, let's see if. All right, just let me know when it starts working.
Well, let me know when you've saved it.
Yeah, I saved it. I save habitually. I just, every single time I make a keystroke, there's always a Command S right afterwards. All right, unexpected error has occurred.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Is string is not defined. Oh, do we have to refresh the the main pen?
I'm refreshing the main pen here.
Yes, it works.
It is?
Yes.
You're sure? Okay.
Yes.
Well, I can click in this in the visualizer, but my actual click event in the DOM is not working.
Are you sure?
It wasn't.
Oh, to event object is not defined. All right, hold on. This is like whack-a-mole. To event object. Please hold. Okay. Yes, I forgot another thing. One, I feel like a human webpack. Like I'm doing this all manually. It is exhausting.
That explains so much. What?
We are going to make it work, and we are going to make you viewers happy, hopefully. All right, so let's reload this and try again.
Okay.
I'm putting Shaw through so much.
Okay. It's fine there. Clicking here. Whoa.
Maximum call stack exceeded. Okay, hold on. Hold on. We are going to figure this out. Oh, geez. I named two functions the exact same thing.
That'll do it.
Well, actually, it's worse than that. Hold on. I copied the wrong thing to event object.
There we go. Transition. Add that in there. Serve it.
Weird. Okay. To event object.
One transition. I got
Let's put
there.
this.
Okay. Rating.
Let's see. To event object. And then if type of event is string and type of event is number, assign return event. What's it yelling at me about? Hopefully nothing. Okay, so it should work now.
Theory. Let's find out. All right, I'll hard refresh. Gonna clear that cache. XState inspect is not defined.
Oh, what I do? I probably have an extra. Something has gone wrong. I have to call CodePen for support.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. Hold on. Okay, let's hard refresh again.
Hard refreshing.
Let's see, payload is not defined. Oh, hold on.
Yeah, payload is not defined.
Oh, you hate me right now. Hold on. Okay, now I'm 92% sure that it's all good to go.
Okay. 92% is good enough for me. Click.
Yes.
Click. Hey, look at that click happening. That's great. All right. All right. And so one thing we can do before is add a before element, content, attribute, data state, position, absolute.
I promise everyone who's actually using this or will use this, it is not going to be nearly as complicated as we made it out to be. This is just me working from the edge of my seat, so to speak. So, yeah.
Yes. Okay, so we've got object there. So we need to set that to state.value. Is that right? State.value is the actual name of the state. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Look at that. Look at that. All right, let's set this to...
All right, so on the root, I'm just going to set...
There we go.
Actually, I should probably do it in the HTML. Over scroll behavior none. And so what that's going to do is make sure that when we move left and... Oh, darn. Oh, I think, you know what? I think it's in CodePen itself. I don't think we could set styles on the actual CodePen Chrome. But basically, there's this property called overscroll behavior. And what that does is you could have it to auto, which means let the browser decide what to do when you're overscrolling. And by overscrolling, we mean when you go left or you go right with your mouse. You know how you go back and forward?
Yeah. Sure.
Basically that. And so when you set overscroll behavior to none, we're preventing that behavior from happening, which is useful if you have something like Google Maps where you could scroll around. But yeah, so that's set on the iframe itself, but I don't think that propagates to the entire website.
Where are you setting that? I'm not.
Don't worry about it because it's not even working. But basically, in the iframe, as you scroll around, just be careful. Don't go too fast, otherwise you might go back accidentally.
Yes.
Which you don't want to do.
Okay, this is awesome. So right now we can fully test our state machine and see how it all works, just using this built-in inspector. So we know which events we need to add in, but we can actually test the logic out and see that affecting our element in real time due to the just simple on transition we've added, where it gives a data state value to the element, main element there.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Okay, let's see.
And so to all of you viewers, if you want to play around with this right now, just please keep in mind, this is very beta, alpha, whatever you want to call it.
Beta?
I've been working on it for a couple months. There's still a lot to work on, but I still want you all to play around with it. So it's at statecharts.io. Yes, I got that domain somehow. And yeah, so if you go to statecharts.io, you'll see just a little blurb on what this is, what some future tooling is going to be, a link to the Stately newsletter where I'm going to be providing updates and some more tooling. Like, this is just the very, very tip of the iceberg of what's coming with XState. So
yes.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Very exciting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I whipped this together in like half an hour. So as far as landing pages go, it's very minimal. I know. I need the privacy statements. I need all of that. There's links to JavaScript, TypeScript, and React and Code Sandbox pretty soon once I figure out how to, bundle that inspect package as a web consumable package that's standalone. Then I will make templates for CodePen as well. But and I need to add documentation too for the inspector. So basically, XState Inspect is something that you throw into your project. I think you could see at the top of the JavaScript where it says inspect. Ideally, you should just be able to call inspect. You would import inspect from XState Inspect, and then you wouldn't need to have the URL. I'm going to update this so that it actually points to this URL by default. And then any inspected machine or interpreted machine where you have DevTools true, it's automatically going to be visualized inside that visualizer. So
that's quite cool.
Yeah,
quite cool. Yeah, I dig it. This is going to help a lot.
Yeah, and it's bi-directional. So no more having to figure out like, where did I add an event listener to what? You could literally control your machines from the visualizer itself.
That's cool.
Yeah, and not only that, there's more. Well, one of the biggest asks, and this is more advanced XState, is that because machines could spawn machines, and you had this like parents-child relationship where machines spawn machines, and you don't know which one is talking with what because it becomes really confusing. Now there is a built-in sequence diagram. And so that's that third tab over there. Right now, it's not going to be very useful because we only have one quote unquote actor, which is that, rating machine. But if it was talking to another machine, then, then we would be able to see that as well in the sequence diagram. And you could link to different machines as they're running. So, yeah. There's a lot going on here.
But it's very exciting. I like this. It's like a little DevTools panel.
Yeah, without the need for actual DevTools.
Yeah, we could actually add a little resize here.
All right, so let's get animating. I need to step out of JavaScript world and start animating some stuff.
Yes. So I'm just still getting a few of the pieces in place here. Feel free to talk about how you want to handle the emoji with the context and the star rating kind of idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So actually, let me find the link to the dribble real quick. By the way, everyone watching, I will give further information on how to use the inspector. It's actually pretty simple. I just need to update it. It's literally one line. You import inspect and then you call it. So I guess 2 lines. All right, so looking at the actual animation, you're right. This should be done via context, because imagine that we want to change our rating from 5 stars to 10 stars. We don't really want to, have to define a state for every single star. So that's where we would use context. So let's see, Shaw has rating and the rating is 0. So when we're in idle, which is this tell us how your experience was, we go to rating, and then rated, it goes to submitting, and submitting after 1,000 goes back to idle. Okay, great. So on rated, this is where we want to actually send the value or assign the value. So let's see how he is sending rated right now.
Let's see. I haven't added that at all yet.
So let's see. Do we have just li items?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, so I'm going to give this a class of rating star, and I'm also going to give it a data rating, and so you could use that. So I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we could just read from that data rating value. So I guess L stars, const L stars equals document.query selector all. What did I call it? I literally just named it rating star, right?
Yes.
Okay, so L stars dot for each L star dot add event listener click. And then so in each one of these, this is where we're going to be able to send that rating. We are going to, actually I should move this to below the actual service. So we have our L rating.event listener. Now we have our L stars.event listener. So we could say rating service.send, and then it's just an event object. So we have type rated,
Yeah.
and let's add a value as well. So value, and that would be the lstar.datasets.rating, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now before even seeing it in the actual UI, we could probably just test this out in the machine. Because we see the rating over here, if I were to click one of these stars, we're not assigning it to anything yet, but if you click events, then you'll see that we have type rates value, whatever, like 3 or something. Is that the same thing you're saying?
Sorry, where is that?
So so we have that value. So we know that we are going to get that value. And so that's one of the uses of having the visualizer right there. So let's go ahead and actually put that value in context. And we do that. Let's see. So the target is going to be submitting. That's what that string shorthand is for. And we're also going to do an action, which is XState.assign. And we're just going to assign the rating to whatever the value was over there. Okay, cool. So now when we click one of the stars, nothing happens.
Yeah, I broke something. There we go.
Good. Okay. Breaking things is the first step to fixing things. All right, cool. So yeah, now when you click on one of the stars, do you see the rating change? So if you go to the states panel.
Yes. Okay, yes, I'm seeing that in context. Yes. Cool.
Yeah.
Target, submitting, actions, XState assign, rating, and value. Okay.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of junk in there that you really don't need, but yeah. Cool. So now we just need a way to visualize those values somehow.
Yes. So what we want to do is rating star.
What would be the best way to do that?
Sorry, say that again.
To actually show the rating on the stars. So when we click them.
Well, we've got our emoji here that needs to be implemented.
Oh, yeah. The whole waving hand. Or actually, I believe there's one for each each one of those interactions.
Right. When it's idle, it's the waving hand.
All right, yeah. Let's add emoji.
Let's do submit. We'll take this off. We'll just do submitting. So I'm adding in the button and taking off the target here. Submit. Okay. Do still submit equals document query selector all. Submit. Waiting. Query selector, and then down here we'll add submit, and we'll do submit here, and this should get us working. Yep, cool. So we can change the rating now without actually transitioning, and then we'll click send to actually go through. So that'll work. So we should probably add like a, I don't know, how do you want to pass that like context or whatever to the actual DOM to like show different emoji or highlight different stars?
Good question. I mean, doing this in React would be a little bit easier in Vue or something like that. So for now, what we could do is we could just mark them as we click them. And yeah, just for now. I think we could say like L star dot data set dot selected equals true. And then we could do our trick where we highlight all of the stars up to the selected one and including the selected one. And anything past the selected one, we don't highlight them. Oh, yep.
In theory, that will, let's see, so rating star, data selected, SVG. Okay, that works. All right, but we don't have, let's see.
Rating star. Do we have a selector for rating star? Ah, yeah, you got it. So fill none or transparent or something. Ah, yeah, there we go.
Yeah, but we don't have a way to target the ones before.
Right, so that would just be all of them.
Well, yeah, but we're in like the rating state. Should we add an extra state of like rated? And then submit or cancel? Or so
try without, because I think you'll see that we might not need to do that. And that's because if none of the stars are selected, then we're not in the rating state anyway. We're in the idle state.
So right now that won't actually happen because when you're in the idle state, let's go back to cancel. When you're in the idle state, if you click the stars, it doesn't actually do anything. Right?
No, it should do something.
Okay, let's go back to cancel. Okay, looks like it is. Okay. All right, so yeah, basically if you're in idle, then nothing is happening. So here we'll go rating star, SVG, yellow. We'll do that for all of them. And then target specifically here to say the ones after we want to be fill gray. Yeah, that works. Cool. Easy enough. We can take off. does it? I guess we need that out of this context, but it's fine. All right, let's. So, in like the idle state, how can we reset the rating? What's the XState way to do that?
Okay. So, in the idle state, we could just have an action that always happens on the entry of that state. So it would just be entry. XState dot assign, and what do we want to do? Set the rating to 0?
To 0, yeah.
Rating 0. There you go.
Okay. And down here, so on transition, okay. So it's not going to clear out our state. It'll clear out the state, but it's not going to clear out the actual DOM. So we can do this here. Can we just do like a general function call like that in the action?
Yeah.
Function reset stars.
You can do whatever you want.
Don't encourage me, David. So here we'll do on entry that, and we'll say reset stars.
That's the top reading. The reading's not showing up in context.
Oh, did I take that off? No. Okay.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay.
We've all started data set that reading.
Data set rate. It was working.
Data set that reading. Let's see. Yeah, and I mean it is coming through as a correct event. It's just
on click send type rate. Do we need a target there? Oh, sorry, I was modifying that. So that can be cleaned up there. That might help. Nope.
No. I'll figure it out.
It looks like it's working now, but idle is not clearing it out. So XState assign doesn't appear to like being in.
Oh, right, yeah. XState assign it's not an imperative function. It's it transforms this into an object. And it's a special object that tells XState what to do. And that's why that could be visualized. So we could also, don't worry, this is a very easy fix. Make this array so that we could have more than one, and then put that there, and then we're good to go.
All right. And we can take out the wrapper function for that, and it's even easier. Great.
Yeah. Got it.
And look at that. It's showing up in the visualizer. Isn't that wild? Okay. Got that. Cool. So yes, the rating is working there. I don't. Oh, okay. Because we don't have any selected. Yeah, we still need some kind of context there, because if you just like click anywhere, let's see, we can add rating. Could do that, and then it will only transition if you click a star. Is that okay? So
yeah.
Line 84, we're sending click, and then we'll set stars. Actually, there. Star data set selected true, and then we send through the. Yeah, great. Okay, so we've got multiple events happening on one interaction, but that's fine. Still.
Yeah, because the click is just going to be ignored. So.
Right. That's great. That makes things easy. All right. And okay. And then submit. Goes through and it's done. All right, so we can let's see. We can take this off. I think. Let's do this how it should be, and then we'll override it here. SVG.
All right, so I just added. All right, so to the rating thing, here, let me just test something real quick. Okay, yeah, so now on the app level, I'm putting the rating on the data rating attribute of the entire app. And that way, if we want to like customize what emoji, we have over there, it could do that by the rating itself.
Okay.
So, tell us how your experience was. And so we could have a div class equals emoji. Just being really lazy over here. And so we're just gonna have a thumbs up. And hopefully, there we go, perfect.
Nice. All right, so let's see. On idle, we've got a waving hand, 2 stars, it's peace sign. Oh, are you planning to change the emoji out with JavaScript or have a list of emoji that we
we could have either a list or we could dynamically set it using a pseudo element.
Animating in and out might be the problem there.
Ah, you're right. You're right.
So we might need class equals emoji. So let's do
actually, by in and outs, do you mean not the restaurants?
Not the restaurant, no. The animation status.
So you want them to morph into each other?
Well, so like if you're like looking at the animation, there's like the kind of rotate happening. So if it's going out, it rotates left. If it's coming in, it rotates right. And kind of pops in.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to go through all the trouble of like adding a million different emojis because thankfully with XState, let's see, we could do this. L rating dot dataset dot prev rating equals states dot history dot context dot rating, and that way now we have both.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So. Ugh.
Well, so here's what I was thinking over here. We could have and dataset rating equals, let's say 3, and then we could just say emoji, and we could literally put it as a string. So let's just do, I don't know, dancer. Just and then
how would we do prev rating though?
Another variable. So we would have like prev rating equals 3, prev emojis. Now it's just a copy paste job. Not a very fun one, but yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's. Yeah, go ahead. Do that.
3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool.
0. Oh, we might need one more in there.
Are we zero indexing this?
0 is the default state. So we would do wave.
All right, cool. So let's see. We have 1 is going to be
probably thumbs down.
What should 5 be?
5 is the horns. Sorry.
Okay. And 4 is, I don't think they have a 4.
4 is the okay.
Okay.
Symbol. 3 is thumbs up. And 2 is peace. 2, what is it? 2 fingers.
I didn't know that you had shortcuts for this.
Yeah, you can always pull up the emoji viewer here in macOS. Let's see, there it is. What's it called? It's called peace hand sign. I think that would do it. Can you drop in here? Where is it? All right.
Cool. So we have.
There we go. Get it? I finally got it. There we go. All right.
There we go.
Okay, and so now emoji, we're going to take this out and we'll do and before and after. Let's style them the same and then just differentiate based on the prev.
All right, sounds good.
Before will be content.
And yeah, so
no, that's not gonna work. You can't do content like that.
Yeah, it'll totally work.
No.
How wouldn't it work?
Because you can't populate CSS variables as content like that.
Oh man, really?
Yeah.
Why would we do that?
Well, you had a vision, David.
I did.
No, so.
Okay, so it has to go directly on.
Yeah, we'll just adapt this here. Welcome to CSS state. So remove that, add, and so we'll do that. Let's see. Okay, so we'll do that and emoji. Yeah, let's
just
and
before.
After. And this is and before.
All right, let me I'll do this magic over here. So this is and after.
Whoa.
And this is and before.
Hey, how'd you do the split cursor like that?
Command D. It's a CodePen feature.
Hey. Should
actually it's an Emmet feature, which CodePen uses Emmet, so
okay, so we can say data rating equals 0 to give our default state here. Oh, we need to change emoji out for content.
Ah, that's right.
So Command D. What did you do? You Command D.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, so you have to select it and then do Command D.
Command D. Okay. And then another Command D.
Yep. Or maybe Command Shift D.
And Shift D.
Oh, just no, not that. Abort ship. Emoji. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. Command D should just work.
Huh. Yeah, it was only selecting the next one for me. Okay, so
cool.
Theory
that should work. Let me see if it's actually happening on that. Do we have an emoji class? Yeah, it should be in that rating. Emoji. Yeah, I don't think that'll make much of a difference. It's just not showing for some
Oh,
reason.
You've got data set rating instead of data rating. Well, that's easy enough. There we go. All right, now we've got it. All right,
There
so
we go.
let's do text align center. And we'll do the before as position absolute. Let's see. Okay, we've got them overlapped there. So we can do, yeah, but see, it's not going to change. Like, we're not going to have a change to trigger there.
What do you mean?
Like, for as far as animation or transition goes, because the content is just going to change immediately. So there's not a animation that can happen.
Oh, so you're talking about the animation is only going to happen once, and then
maybe even once, yeah.
Right. Thinking. That's a classic problem of how do you make an animation like basically replay.
Yeah, I think we might need to do it in JavaScript somehow.
Web Animations API, or
I mean, just triggering, triggering some kind of change there. Yeah, I don't know what do you recommend here.
Thinking. You know what we could do?
What?
Just kidding. No. So, okay. So what we could do is we could, some dumb trick that I used in the past was basically you only apply the animation if the element has a certain class or a certain attribute or something like that. You remove that attribute, and then on the next animation frame, you add that attribute back in. That way, the animation will replay. So we could do that.
Right. So down here on transition.
Well, actually, we could do it right here because we know that animation is going to play whenever we do a rate action. And so we could add another action, which just a function. And in here, we could, we could have like a data set animating or something like that. So do we have L-emoji anywhere here?
Yes. Or no.
Const L-emoji equals document.query selector. Oh, okay. Yeah. So we have, is that an L or an I? Okay, that's an L. Okay. We could add L emoji or delete L emoji. What do we want to call this? Data set dot animating. Just going to do that. And then request animation frame L emoji dot dataset dot animating equals true. And then that's all we should need. So let's test this out with a quick animation.
Yeah, working on that.
Oh, nice. Way ahead of me. We do double colons. I guess that's the right way to do it.
It's the correct way, David.
I know. Bottom. Okay. So when does this
do the same for the 4, but with left, go 2, transform, do 1 turn. I'll just make it simple with rotate in and rotate out.
I have good news. It's working.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay.
Well, for one of them.
Negative 0.5.
In theory, it should work for both, but
opacity 0. Okay. Yeah, it's not working for. Let's see. So after.
So for one of them, it's just fading in.
Yeah.
And I think that's because you have a 2. I'm having them do both.
Well, so rotate out is working.
Yeah.
Rotate in is not.
Should this be 2?
No. No, it should be from.
Oh, you're right.
And we can be explicit. Transform none, opacity 1. Make sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really weird. Okay, so we have data.
Let's do this with background red, just to make sure that it's targeting. Okay, it is. That's fine.
Let's see. Rotate negative 0.25 turns. Rotate negative 0.25 turns. Opacity 0. Rotate in. Huh. I'll be honest, I like that effect though. It's just not exactly what we want.
Just be explicit here. Make sure.
So
data animating is removed and then added after a frame. And that works for before, but it doesn't work for after. Oh, display block.
Ah, is that what it needs to be?
Yeah, because the other one's position absolute, so it's working.
No, it's way out to the.
Yeah, we'll fix that. Don't worry. Yep.
Aha, there we go.
Great.
We just have one that's way off.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. Aha.
There we go.
Nice. And we can add slight delay. Animation delay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap up here in a moment. Animation delay 0.4 seconds, like that. Probably not that long. 0.2 seconds. Hey, that's nice. Yeah, that's working really well.
I dig it. All right.
Speed it up a little.
That looks good. All right, with the speeding up, it looks like super good. That is that is nice.
Yeah, I wonder doing maybe just like
wow,
80%.
That's better than my visualizer.
Wow. Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
I love the thumbs down because it looks like you're literally pushing your thumb down on something.
Yes.
Like you got angry at a post-it note.
Let's do light gray here. Apply that here. Instead, take off the opacity here. And let's establish a light gray. DDD. Right.
That looks awesome.
Yeah. Okay. And then so send. Okay. So we want to add this in here. I think, right? We want to move this to the transition because
which one?
The data animating.
Oh, I mean, if you want. So the reason that I put in rating is because only in rating is that actually going to matter.
Well, in idle, like going from submitting to idle. But
you're right. You're right. Okay, yeah, you could go ahead and do that there.
Yeah, it's just
so you could consider on transition basically your output. like your sync, your like here's the state, do whatever you want with it.
Right.
So
right. Yeah, that if we do it there, let's see. We'll do if, let's say, that prev rating, cool. Oop. And then we'll do prev rating there, and then we'll just do a simple check in between the two. So rating equals state context not rating. Then we'll set that.
You're getting the hang of this.
The same way, something like that. And then so if rating is not equal to prev rating, then we need to animate the emoji. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
There you go.
That should work. And send, submitting, and it goes back to idle. Awesome. Okay. So other than an atrocious send button, I mean, we're pretty much there, right?
Yeah, it looks great.
Okay.
Animation's working. We actually got the inspector to work, which, yeah. I need to optimize it for CodePen. So put that on the very long list of things that I need to do for this, but yeah.
Yeah, something like that at least gets us in.
Yeah, that works.
Decent
Did it just me, or did the focus styles get uglier on Chrome?
Yeah, there was a recent update that changed that quite a bit. 0.5 there, make that a little bit bigger, and we got a pretty nice little send button. That's at least something. Okay, so tell us, how was your experience? And we can do boop.
5 out of 5 stars.
Boop. Send. Awesome. Okay, and so we can follow along in our state chart down here. So we've got the click event, and now we're in the rating stage, and so we can choose to rate it again if we want to. We can change that, and then we can submit. It goes through. So we don't have any animation for those other states necessarily, but that's okay. We'll have to wrap it here. But yeah, this is a cool little inspector. I keep wanting to call it the visualizer, but that's,
I mean, it does both. It visualizes your current running application, but it also
it's inspecting the current state machine to visualize it and provide the additional context there.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, let's wrap this up here. What would you like to especially show? Like obviously showing the inspector here. So
well, that maybe we could hold off. We could just talk about using XStates to go between the states, but yeah, that would be an entirely different video.
Yeah,
there's just a lot to talk about.
Yeah, it can be a quick breakdown of the state machine that we're using here and how it's powering this animation, and we can use the inspector to help visualize that. Okay, and then animating an element again. We can cover that with our data animating attribute. Anything else to cover? I think that those are the most interesting pieces of it.
Yeah, right. I think that's enough.
Okay, awesome. So thanks everyone that's watching live. Stay with us. We're going to do some breakdowns that will help you be able to kind of understand what's going on. But these will be edited out in the end to be kind of short little videos to help people that are short on time. It may sound a little funny at times, but we're just recording the intros and outros and stuff, but stay with us.
Yeah.
All right. Gonna give myself a marker real quick. Hola, amigos, and welcome to Keyframers. I'm Stephen Shaw.
And I'm David Khourshid.
Let's take a quick look at a technique from David's birthday animation, a little state machine rating app that we built. So yeah, why don't you take us through the state machine here and how we're using XState?
Sure. So we are using XState to create a pretty basic state machine to go through the stages of our app. If you want to learn more about XState, you could go to xstate.js.org/docs, and everything is going to be there for you. But we also have a visualizer at the bottom, which makes it a lot clearer to understand what's actually going on in your machine. So let's walk through the actual machine real quick. We have a rating machine with an initial state of idle. So this is the very first state that our application is in when we first, enter the page or whatever.
And that's visualized at the top here in the text,
Yes.
and also at the bottom you can see the idle state is highlighted thanks to the XState inspector.
And so the way we go between these states is we have these transitions such as on click, rating. So it sort of reads like English. You say on click, go to rating. And basically that means when we click any one of those rating buttons, or actually it's just when we click.
So it is when we click any of the stars. So for all of our stars, we have event listeners, and it's sending through a click event to our rating service.
Yeah, so it's going to do two things. We're going to send a click event and immediately send a rate event as well. Now, there's things in XState called actions, and these are sort of side effects. And so one of the side effects we have here is this XState.assign. And so that's, we're going to be assigning to context. And context is where we keep like all of our extra data that we need that's relevant or contextual to the current state, such as our rating. Our rating could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we could have a rating of between 0 and 5. And so when we click one of those stars, we're sending that value over and assigning it to that rating. And you could see that it plays that little animation when we click one of those stars. And so you could see that the context is changing as we click each of those. And yeah, so our final two transitions, or three actually, we have submit. And so when we click that send, that's going to go to the submitting state. And you could just imagine that as a state where we send asynchronously the rating data. But over here, we just have it going back to idle after 1 second. And clicking cancel also goes back to idle, but there is no cancel button in the UI. And so that's why in the visualizer, you could manually cancel yourself and maybe add that later in the UI. So you could code up your logic without having to code the UI first, without having to wire anything up. And so hopefully you find that useful. I find that useful because I'm a very lazy developer.
Yes, so. It is quite handy, and we go into state machines a lot. We don't always use XState, but we do often use similar syntax to all of this. And one common trick that we're using is actually setting a data attribute on the element itself that contains the state, and then we target those for our stylings. Like for the idle state, we want all those stars to just be gray unless you're hovering over them. So that's a quick example of how we're using the state machine in here. There's a lot more in depth to it that we'll break down in another video, but also in the full live video. All right, and we'll record that outro after the next one. But we can talk about animating an element again. I'll go through that one real quick.
Yeah.
All right, animating an element again. With CSS animations, there's not really a great way to just re-trigger that animation to display unless you actually like change something about the element. So you know, if you're hovering, or if you have a focus state, or if a class or a attribute on the element changes, then you can re-trigger an animation. So for instance, in this birthday rating state chart machine, we have this emoji that animates in and out based on the current rating. And we're doing a lot behind the scenes to actually change that emoji out. You can see all this junk up here. But what we actually want to do is animate those pseudo elements that have the actual emoji in them. So that's what's happening here. We've got the animation only applied when a data animating attribute is set. And then down in our JavaScript, we're actually removing that data attribute for just one frame. Just one frame is all you need. And then whenever it's set again on the next frame, that animation is going to kick back in. Basically, you're telling the browser, don't do any animation for a frame, and then the next frame, it's going to start that animation again.
Right.
That's a really great way to make sure a CSS animation plays again without having to control it with WAPI or whatever.
WAPI.
WAPI?
Yeah.
That's how I...
API. I don't know. But yeah, you could also think of this as a state machine, because the browser is only going to play an animation on an element when when it goes from not having a certain selector for which the animation is defined to having that selector. So if you have that selector, like that data set animating, that data dash animating, and even if you change the content or change the class or do anything else, the browser is going to be like, well, that selector didn't change, so I'm not going to reanimate it. So that's why we take it off and we put it right back on. So we trick the browser.
Yes, and that's a great way to kind of control CSS animations a little bit in JavaScript, at least re-triggering them when you know that it should be changing. All right, outro here. Yeah, do you have the script there?
I do.
Okay.
What script?
Let's go for it.
All right. You can watch the full process of creating this animation for a deeper dive into each one of the techniques that we covered on the full live stream links right below. So please leave a comment if you have any questions.
Yes, leave 5 stars, thumbs up, all that good stuff. Our show is supported by our sponsors, CodePen at codepen.io, CSS Tricks at css-tricks.com, and viewers like you. You can pledge at patreon.com/keyframers and subscribe to our channel for more great content. We've got links for all that available below. Thank you all so much for watching. Until next time, adios, amigos.
Adios.